Good evening, race fans. Here tonight on the Five Kings Motorsports YouTube page. We're bringing a little something different here tonight. We have the American Sim Racing League ARCA cars out here tonight. Sitting here riding shotgun with Taylor the Butcher Benjamin as he's going out to try to put down his qualifying laps. His first lap around, he was able to go top of the board with a 30.58. So he's going to be a driver to look for tonight. And that number 10 machine looking very stout out here. Now, I want to apologize for getting on here a little bit later. Had company show up, and I thought I had my stuff done, but I did not. We're winging it right now, folks. But well, thank y'all for tuning in. I see we already got some people already in the chat. Thank y'all for tuning in, and let me know who do you got tonight. First race of the season. It's a good way to start the season out with momentum. So if you can come out here and get you a good finish tonight, that can really basically shoehorn you into a good season. But it all starts tonight. We're at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's America's home for stock car racing. If we're going to pull up our race info real quick. So the track looks like it's going to be about 79 degrees. So that tells me these cars are going to have a lot of grip tonight. They're going to be gripped up. But when I was watching practice and talking to a few of the drivers earlier, they did want to step out on them on exit slightly. So that is something they will have to be mindful of all night, especially when that right rear tire starts to wear. Because they're going to be leaning over on that tire a lot tonight at very, very high speeds. And we have Sam Baumgarten now hitting the track with an air temp of only 77 degrees. It's not very bright out here. It looks like we're going into the nighttime. It's going to get cooler. So when it gets cooler with the temperatures, the air temp's getting cooler. That just means the track's also going to get cooler. And then that's going to mean way more grip. As we see, Mr. Sam in the number 53 sporting a new paint scheme this week. Got the MF Racing Designs Halloween colors on. He went to second on the board. I'll have his tower up, but then as you see at the third place spot, it has the names kind of messed up. It's something to do with SDK. There was an update on their end. I did the update. Had a guy try to fix it. As you see, it's not fixed. But so right now, you got the Butcher, Benjamin, in the 10 car. He's currently sitting in P1 with Sam Baumgarten. He's going to be starting outside row number 1 if they was to line up how they stand right now. In our third place qualifier here tonight, at number 17, the Soul Stealer, that's Brian Dees. We await more people to qualify here tonight. And now with this being a brand new season, that means all these drivers are going to have new paint schemes. So typically it's me and somebody else up in the booth, but with it just being me tonight, I'm going to have to work to remember all these drivers and their paint schemes. Got a very, very long race tonight, so it's going to take us a while to get there, but we will eventually get there. Get to see the 31 right now he's running about the middle groove right now, so he's trying to get as much momentum as he can as he is coming around now. That was his out lap. I do apologize. He's coming around right now out of turn number 2 down the backstretch. So this will be his first lap actually scored. So let's see how he's able to do in that number 31. A very good looking car, I might add. Very, very nicely done. Whoever painted that one. As Mr. Alan Castle, first lap around with a 31.60. That's going to put him up to 12th on the board. We're going to see if he can get just a little bit better on the second lap around. And now with him running that middle lane, I do believe that's the lane these drivers will eventually go to. As the tires start to wear, grip levels start to shrink more and more. But I think in order to be fast, put down the fastest Q lap. Ooh, we see that driver actually get loose. So I'm telling you folks, coming out of turn 4 is going to be tough. Naturally, the car wants to carry itself up to the wall. And then you have to fight that. And right then we saw him fighting it, and the car just got loose. As we're going to take just a brief moment, folks. I'm trying to fix some audio issues on my end. Alrighty, folks, I do believe we got that all ironed out and hammered out. If you are watching out in viewerland, please slap a like on the YouTube video. It helps us out a ton. We currently have right at 75 subscribers right now. We only started this adventure about a month and a half ago, so we're slowly but surely getting there. We're currently on the road to 100 subscribers, and now I know in the grand scheme of everything, that don't sound like a lot, but to me, each and every one we get means the world to me, and we appreciate the support. I love seeing the comment section get full from viewers at home rooting for their favorite drivers who are out there on track. So let me know, who do you have tonight? If you was a betting man, a betting woman, who do you put your money on tonight? Because right now, I mean, a surefire betting man's going to put it on the Butcher, but I know he has some stiff competition right there behind him with Sam Baumgarten, Ryan Dees, Willie Evernham, John Perkins, Joshua Sexton. I mean, those are some heavy hitters. That's why I love this series right here. They have a lot of fast guys. There's so much talent in this field. And, I mean, a lot of these NASCAR-style series, they typically put their first race of the season at Daytona. No, not these guys. We're going to America's home of racing, Charlotte Motor Speedway, under the lights. It gets no better than this. We have about a minute left before these drivers do go to the grid. I'm going to see if I can dial up our pole sitter right now. It's looking like it's still Taylor the Butcher. Taylor, this is Tanner Marr in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Tanner.
So, Taylor, I'll be honest. I got in here late, had company come over about 20 minutes before we went live. So I had to handle that, take care of that stuff. But I come back and see that you put that number 10 on the pole. I was watching you practice a little bit. It looked like the car could get a little loose on exit. How's that going to affect your strategy coming to tonight, 150 laps here at Charlotte?
Well, I mean, just got to take it easy for the first half of the race at the very least, because, we only got 2 changes, and this track eats tires up like you won't believe. So just got to stay smooth and be around at the end where it counts the most, and hopefully can put this number 10 in victory lane, because it came so close last year, as you well know. But
Right,
hopefully to get off on the right foot.
You had one of the best seasons you could possibly ever have. Just was never able to capitalize and pull off that elusive win. But you put it on the pole here tonight, Taylor. So you're starting this new season off great. We'll be calling action up here tonight, Taylor, and maybe you can get you some stage points. Because as you know, lap 50, we got a stage break coming in this series starting tonight.
Yep, that's going to be big all season long to collect them, and could be a big difference of whether to make the chase or not.
Absolutely. Alrighty, Mr. Butcher, I will get you moved down to your race team, and we'll be calling action. Good luck to you, buddy.
Thanks. Have a good one.
Thank you, buddy. Alright, that was our pole sitter, Taylor, the Butcher, Benjamin. Put it on pole in pretty convincing fashion. Looking really stout out there. So we're going to go to the race grid here and see our starting lineup. Starting on the inside, row number 1, we just heard from him with the 30.354. It's Taylor, the Butcher, Benjamin. Starting second, it's going to be Sam Baumgarten in that number 53 Halloween machine, painted by none other than MF Racing Signs, representing Speed Mafia. He's starting outside row number 1. Inside row number 2, it's the Soul Stealer himself, Mr. Brian Dees, in that number 17. Willie Evernham is going to be rolling off outside row number 2, and if that last name sounds familiar to any fans at home, it's because Willie Evernham's uncle is one of the founders to the SRX series and one of the most famous crew chiefs in all of NASCAR, Mr. Ray Evernham. Again, that's Willie Evernham, driver number 19. He's starting P4. John Perkins in the number 33. He's going to be rolling off in 5th with Joshua Sexton starting in P6. Paul Ellison in the number 55 rolling off P7. Corey Rutherford representing Work in Progress Racing. He's going to be rolling off in 8th. Frank Barbary is in 9th. Philip Van Fleet from the Lone Dutchman Racing, he's starting in 10th. Joshua Rutherford, another Rutherford brother. He is in here representing Work in Progress Racing as well. Driver number 64 is starting in P11. Then Alan Castle in the 31 machine. We saw him get a little loose right there. He's rolling off in 12. And now we did have a few that did not qualify. That was the one and only Rick Thompson sporting a new look here tonight. And Vernon in the 313 machine, but I don't think Vernon has made it onto the track. No, he has not. So, field is in the hands of the Butcher, number 10, Top Flight machine. Got old Samuel, though, to his outside. Sam's a very, very accomplished racer, very, very fast racer. But you heard, folks, there's only 2 sets of tires in the pits. So, you got to be smart about what you're going to do when it comes to the tire strats. You gotta be careful and not burn this first setup too quickly, because it pays to have the best set at the end of the race. As Willie Everham in the chat says, go 5 Kings. We appreciate that, Willie. Now go get him on the track, buddy, as the pace car makes that hard left-hand turn on pit road. We're getting ready to be green flag racing. Alrighty, folks, and the green is out. It looks like Sam got the jump needed right then. Going to be able to clear the number 10 right here if he wants it. Let's see what line these drivers elect to take now. As we do, in fact, see Sam take the top dog spot. They are battling side by side. Or they was, but now it looks like Brian Dees has taken that spot away from Mr. Evernham. As now our top 4 get single filed out. We go back here to 5th place. You can see Joshua Sexton and John Perkins. They were battling it out for a minute, trying to get whatever they could on the restart or on the initial start. It looks like Joshua Sexton won that battle. Got Paul Ellison. He is running 7th right now. He's going to be looking for a strong run here tonight. And at number 55, another new paint scheme. That's a beautiful one too. I love the Halloween schemes tonight. I love them. As you see, Corey Rutherford also got a new paint scheme. Looks like it has some Finding Nemo on it. And we got Philip Van Fleet in the 89. Folks, I apologize. It is storming here. So if we do drop connection, I will be back on as quick as I can be. It shouldn't drop the stream totally, so when I fire it back up, it should be able to pick it right back up where it started. But right now, Sam, he's the only thing he's picking up right now is laps led, as he's going to get another one on the board here as we put the tower up on the side. Coming to lap number 5, though, we're going to have a battle for the lead here. That 10 car is inside the 53, trying to make a statement already. We know he had a great season last year, did the Butcher, but he could never, ever capture that elusive first win in this ASRL league. Ended up finishing 2nd or 3rd in the points last season. I can't remember. But I can tell you, from the looks of this schedule, I've already seen the schedule. I will show you y'all the schedule shortly. This season right here is going to be a doozy. It's going to be a good one. As we look a little bit further back to see how John Perkins is settling in. He has the 55 of Paul Ellison right now, trying to get to his back bumper. But right now, if I'm these guys, I'm doing exactly what they're doing right now. They're kind of all falling in single line, and they're just clicking off laps at this point. Just trying to get the laps clicked off because, like we mentioned, last season we did not have stage cautions in this. And now this season, we don't have stage cautions, but we do have one caution going to come. That's the one scripted caution of the race. It's going to come on lap 50 tonight. So if I am one of these drivers out here in the field, I think it would be best to pace yourself and just try to maintain your equipment. Take care of the tires as much as you can. And then, say around lap 100, maybe then go into go mode and start pushing. But right now you see the slow stealer Brian Dees got right up there to the back bumper of the 10. And now I watched some of practice, and you could tell these cars did not like dirty air. You can manipulate that car in front of you or behind you just by the dirty air. Very, very reminiscent of what we see on Sundays with NASCAR. So you're looking at the soul stealer right now, trying to actually steal the soul of the butcher, but just not able to fully get there just yet in that beautiful 17 Marvels versus X-Men machine, or Avengers versus X-Men, excuse me. As we see maybe a battle for the lead here, that number 10 Taylor Benjamin is looking to the inside of the 53. It gets really tight down there. You got to be careful not to wash up into that driver on your outside. They're going to be drag race to the start-finish line here. As advantage to the 53 that time around for lap number 9. It looks like, though, Taylor is not going to give it up. He's going to sit there and fight. And now, that 17 car, Brian Dees, as we're going to go cockpit cam with Mr. Dees, you can see he's basically in line with Taylor. So in his mind, he's thinking Taylor's going to make this pass. But look at Sam make a power move on the outside, clear that driver. So it's telling me already that outside lane is the preferred lane right now, I do believe, because it's such momentum on the exit. And we're going to see how Brian Dees, ooh, the number 10 actually gets into the wall a little bit. That might be a problem right there, folks. These ARCA cars, if you get into the wall, you can really, really hurt them, especially on a track like this that's so aero dependent. You got to be so careful with how you race these cars. So a little contact right then on the right side of the 10 machine. I'm going to see if we can get a camera over there to maybe see. It does not look bad, so no harm, no foul right now. Still looking strong. That's allowed Sam Baumgarten and Brian Dees to kind of walk away from the field. Willie Evernham, though, is trying to get back up there to them drivers. Currently about half a second back off second place of Brian Dees. As we go on back in the pack once again, let's give an update on Rick Thompson. He was not able to qualify. He got in here a little bit later. He has now worked his way up 3 spots, though, so he would have started 14th or 13th, depending on the I rating. I think they had him slotted in as starting 13th. He's currently up 3 spots in 12 laps, so he's gaining a spot about every 4 laps. So he is on the move. That brand new, beautiful number 76 machine. As you see him going to make a pass on Van Fleet. That moves him up into P9 now. So, I mean, that 76 is on the move now as he sets his sights on Mr. Corey Rutherford in the 5 machine right there in front of him. Rick Thompson is our biggest mover thus far. And it looks like all eyes are forward. And he's going to try to keep climbing that mountaintop to maybe get to the mountain peak. That is Mr. Sam Baumgarten in number 53. Willie Evernham, he has cut the gap from second to third just a little bit. It was right at half a second earlier. He got it down to 4/10 right there. So that shows me maybe Willie is saving his stuff a little bit while also trying to catch them guys in front of him. I know that's kind of an oxymoron, but what I mean by that is he may just be using the draft off these drivers in front of him to allow that car to maintain the speed and momentum that it needs to not fall back while also saving your equipment, as he's looking really strong right now in 3rd place, actually shown as the fastest car on the track that lap around. Our pole sitter, he is falling back to 4th. We saw him have a little bit of mistake going into turn 1. It's like that wall will reach out and grab you here. It does it going into turn 1, and it does it especially coming off turn 4. It's almost as if just that wall has arms and hands and just reaches out and says like Scorpion, get over here. You can tell that number 10, it's a little scraped up down towards the bottom, but as he gets into the wall a little bit more, the Butcher is having a trouble with the entry on turn 1. hitting into that wall slightly twice now as he enters turn one. That's going to be a storyline to watch if we see any other drivers actually do that same exact thing. See, Sam is still setting the pace for the entire crew right now. Leading on lap number 18, we got a little bit over 30 laps to go before the first stage caution, and right now it's all the number 53 Halloween machine currently setting the tone for how the race will go. But you know what they say, folks, in racing, it's not over until it's over. So much can change in one of these races, especially a race that has like 150 laps. As we see a pass for third now, the Butcher's coming back, folks. He made that slight error, made that error again, but it don't look like it slowed down that number 10 at all. As you see the fire spitting out the side, that 10 car is trying to get back what he earned earlier but lost. He was our pole sitter, so we know he has good short run speed. Let's see if he can match that and have good long run speed, because that time around, though, the Butcher, fastest on the track. We'll check it again as they come out of turn number 4. We will see if he is able to close the gap in on second place. The Butcher also faster that time by almost a full tenth over second and first place. So he will eventually catch those guys up there in front of him at this rate. Now we all know, though, catching the people in front of you is a completely different story than passing the people in front of you. You can catch people in front of you fairly easy, but when you go to try to make a pass, you need to be a couple tenths faster to really make that pass and make it pretty fast. If you're just right there just a little bit faster than that driver, and you're going to have to sit there and battle and battle and battle and hope that driver in front of you eventually makes a mistake. I can tell you, as we're looking back to the number 17 off of the 53, this 17 and 53, they're veterans in this game. They're not going to make very many mistakes. The mistakes they make are going to be far and in between, and typically they're going to be very, very minor mistakes. So if the Butcher wants to capitalize and get back up there in the spot he started the race in, I'm seeing Brian Dees has brought his machine down pit road. This might be a fuel strategy call right here. I will actually try to dial him up after he gets into his pit box so we don't distract him. I think we have Mr. Brian Dees playing a little strategy right now. They may only be able to go about 25 laps. Typically, I know the fuel run. Like I said, had family over, did not get that information tonight. It does not look like that machine is taking fuel. I'm not going to bother him either, just because he's in the middle of a race. He's going to try to come out. We'll let him be, but Brian Dees is the first driver to bring it down pit road, and now we have a pretty busy pit road, I think, as Corey Rutherford's going to come. I look for more drivers to start making that plunge on the pit road now that 2 have already broken the ice. But Sam is in the catbird seat right now. He pretty much can control what the other guys do. If he was to pit right now, it forces the hand of everybody else to go ahead and pit, get off their strategy, basically. Guys want to do whatever the leader does because the leader's up there for a reason. So we're going to wait and see when this 53 machine will elect to come down pit road. As it stands right now, Brian Dees and Corey Rutherford are the only 2 that have pitted. We see the 53 actually get a little loose right there. So even out by himself, still having to battle that car. I'm going to go cockpit cam with Sam right here and see how he is attacking the track. He still ain't coming down pit road, folks. But you see, every time that wheel turns to the right there, every time you see that orange tape, it's supposed to be in the middle of the car. Anytime you see it turn to the right, he's trying to catch the car. It's starting to slide a little bit on him. And to be fast, you got to be a little loose. That's what drivers always say, on that ragged edge. Meaning they are right there on the edge of being in control, but yet on the edge of actually wrecking. So you gotta be careful with that. Now Sam, I mean, he's really getting loose. He's really stepping that car out. And eventually that right rear tire of yours, it gets so much heat in it because it's doing all the work. Anytime you see the car get loose like that, that means that right rear is really working. And that's what we're seeing right now. So eventually that right rear gets a little hot. And it might get a little angry at you. And then those little slides that you were having before, it comes into something much bigger that you actually cannot control. As we've had Mr. John Perkins take his machine down pit road. Frank Barbary has put his machine down pit road. So now we've had 4 elect to come in and take service. When will the rest of the field come? As we're now on lap number 27, going to be 28 next time by the stripe. Now, if you're one of the ones that pitted, the last thing you want to see right now is a caution. You don't want to get yourself trapped a lap down. And then, not only that, but you had to pit under green flag conditions. If a caution flies and these leaders get to pit under a yellow flag condition, well, man, they lose nothing then. I mean, they gain everything possible to gain. So these guys that have already pitted, the likes of Brian Dees, John Perkins, Corey Rutherford, and Frank Barb, they want to see the rest of these guys just go ahead and bring their cars down pit road before anything happens. As now Rick Thompson, Paul Ellis, and Joshua Sexton, 3 cars down pit road at once. We are definitely in the fuel window now. If you get 30 cars dipped down at one time, that's telling me these drivers' fuel cells are really starting to get slim when it comes to the Sunoco racing fuel. They just need to come in and get her filled on up. But you got to be careful now, folks, when you start making these green flag pit stops, as we see the leader coming around now, coming into turn 1. When you make these green flag pit stops, you got to enter kind of fast. But if you speed on pit road, whether that's on entry, whether that's while you're on pit road, or whether it's on exit, you will get penalized. And I mean, that can derail your entire race, especially if you're under green flag conditions. I mean, it's going to make you do a pass-through penalty, and then you lose a lap. And I think we're going to see Mr. Sam come down pit road now, get that machine slowed up enough. But look at the time that the 10 just cut on him. He had almost a 1.5 second lead over Taylor right then. And Taylor, being a little bit more aggressive as he came into pit road, was able to cut that gap down pretty far. We may have a battle here as these gents come off pit road. As Willie Evernham came down, Philip Van Fleet is down, Joshua Rutherford, and Alan Castle, all those drivers have come down. So I think that is everybody to pit. That's the entire field right there. As you see this number 53 beat the 10 off pit road. Got to be careful coming off pit road right here. I know you want to go fast and get everything you possibly can, but it's really slick down there. That track's not very banked at all. As we see, Brian D is going to take the lead. So Brian must have had a really good pit stop. As you just saw, Sam was not even up to speed yet and just happened to see the number 17 Avengers machine just blow by him. As now we have a new leader out front, Mr. Brian Dees, the Soul Stealer, going to try to lead us to the lap 50 stage break, get him some bonus points going into the playoffs. If you can capture some bonus points and then capture a win here tonight, there is no better way to open up and start out a brand new season. That sets you for the rest of the season. That's what that number 17 of D's is trying to currently do in his MF Racing Designs paint scheme. And I'm noticing the drivers still are running about a groove up off the bottom. I really thought they would migrate up as the run went on, especially because we're 33 laps into this run. So right now, like we heard Taylor mention in his interview, he said the track is really hard on tires. So, I mean, 33 laps in, you really start to use the tires. And I can promise you, they're really starting to feel the effect of them now. And that's going to do nothing but get worse. And now, especially when they add all that fuel to it so they can make it to the interstage, that's just all extra weight, basically. They got used to how it felt with no fuel in it when it was running a little bit lower on fuel. And then they had to go in, fill it back up. So it makes the car handle a lot different. See, Brian D still out front. Has over a second lead over second place Sam Baumgarten. With Taylor the Butcher sitting third. Willie Evernham's currently fourth. John Perkins is sitting fifth. Corey Rutherford is sixth. Rick Thompson's currently sitting seventh. Paul Ellison sitting 8th as they're trying to get it and shake it up. Joshua Sexton is currently sitting 9th place on the grid. Philip Van Fleet is 10th, and we just saw Frank Barber there. I think he is shown as a lap down. Currently mixing it in, but he is currently running in 11th spot with Joshua Rutherford right there behind him in P12. Alan Castle is playing shotgun to the field right now. He is currently sitting in 13th spot. Coming to lap number 37 when they round out of turn 3 and 4. It's still the number 17 all out front, but that 53 has cut the gap almost in half. We're now sitting at about a 7/10 of a second gap. And we see the 53 actually get really loose right then. I'm interested to see the pit call that these guys do when it comes to lap 50. Because they have 3 total sets of tires, so 150 lap race. My redneck math tells me they can go 50 laps, take a set, 50 laps, take a set, and then do the last 50 laps on a brand new set. But race car drivers, they want the most advantage they can get. So I think we might see people elect to not take tires here at lap 50. They might stretch it out and go lap maybe 60 and then go 60 on the second one, and then you only have 30 laps to go on that remaining set. It's way better to have the most freshest tires possible at the end of the race. It's great to be fast, but being fast at the beginning of the race gets you nothing. I mean, it gets you some laps led, which is good for sponsors. They get the TV time, but in the grand scheme of things, it gets you nothing. So, with all that said, I expect some of these drivers to not take their tires on lap 50 and try to set themselves up for success as we get to the closing time of this race. Coming to lap number 40 now. As Sam is definitely, I mean, you can look at the gap with the eye test or on the ticker. Neither one are going to let you down and fail you. Sam is catching Mr. Bryan in the 17. Will he catch him in the next 10 to 11 laps? They come to the stage caution. As Sam is really loose right now, folks. Really, really loose. As we're going to go to the gearbox cam, as you can see, we're just going to see that number 53 car get a little bit bigger each and every time around this track. Means he's getting closer to him. But I want y'all to watch that number 53 coming off the corner as Frank Barber's making an unscheduled pit stop. Frank Barber's back on pit road again. So hold on. I'm not exactly sure what has happened to Frank as he's coming back up on the track now. I'm not sure. It looks as if Frank may have took tires right then. And then we come back to the battle for the lead. The 53 is there. He has really closed the gap in on the number 17. We're going to have a battle for the race lead as we're coming closer to the end of this stage. Let's go on board with Mr. Sam Baumgarten. See exactly how he does here. But look, you can just see, look at the closing rate on the 17. But just gets loose, not able to keep the momentum needed. Sam is really willing that machine. Now I want to go on board with Brian Dees. Let's try to see if he is maybe going as hard as Sam is right now. You can tell Sam's really pushing. Sam wants that lead. He led all the laps up to the point where they did a green flag pit stop. So, I mean, it proven he's fast. He has a lot of speed tonight. So let's see if maybe Sam is going a little bit harder than what Dees is. Dees is also getting loose as well, but not nearly as loose as we see that 53 getting right there behind him. Just trying to follow the leader right now, but I know Sam wants to win this stage. As we are now on lap number 43, Brian Dees, he's not made a mistake yet, and I'm not sure that 17 will make a mistake. It's going to take a power move out of the number 53 to try to get around Dees here. It's going to take a power move now. Dees might bobble, get a little loose, and that might open the door for the 53 as we're now on lap number 44. Remember, folks, stage caution is coming on lap 50. There's some bonus points to whoever wins the stage, and bonus points are always a good thing. They're never a bad thing. You want as many as you can get, especially on the opening night I want to thank y'all for tuning in to the American Sim Racing League here on the Five Kings Motorsports YouTube channel. Hope y'all are having a good time. If you don't mind, slap that like button as we're getting ready to have a battle for the lead. It looked like Sam was going to look underneath the 17, but thought better of it. That try over here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it's very, very tricky. It looks like the 17 changed his lineup a little bit on entry. May have gave that 53 some dirty air. That's what the 17's trying to do right now. He's trying to manipulate the air for that number 53. Put him in some dirty air, and that was slow the 53 down. But that 53 looks like a man on a mission right now, as we are now 5 laps to go this time by for the stage caution. And now, if I recall correctly, top 5 at the end of this stage are the ones that get stage points. I'm pretty sure Brian Dees or Sam Baumgartner, whoever wins this exchange right here, whoever wins the stage, the winner will get 5 points. Second place will get 4. Third place will get 3. Fourth place will get 2. And then fifth place will get 1 point. So if you can get yourself inside fifth place, like currently John Perkins is in the number 33, currently holding down the final stage point spot, that would be a good start to a good race here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the home of stock car racing in America. As Corey Rutherford, he is currently sitting 4th. He was a playoff driver last season. We saw him battle it to the very last race. And then Taylor the Butcher Benjamin is currently sitting 3rd right now, not being able to match the pace that Sam Baumgarten and Brian Dees have shown thus far tonight. Is our pole sitter of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. As we are now on lap number 48. It looked as if Sam was a for sure bet to win this stage just 4 laps ago. We saw him get loose and turn 2 and 3, or 3 and 4 one time, and that kind of just created the gap that we now see. So he's going to try to bustle his way back up there and see what he can do in that Halloween car. But right now, it's still all the So Stiller out front. As you just look at the run Sam is able to obtain off the exit of 4. He may try a power move on the outside now. We are going to have a battle for the lead here, folks. Sam in the number 53 is going above the 17. Battle for the race lead and a battle for the stage win. The 53 should have the momentum as he's on that high side. 17's going to fight back though and not give him an inch, not give him anything. It's all takedowns. They're coming to the white or the final lap of the stage. It may still throw at lap 51 though, so we'll see. They may slide contact. The 53 may go around. Sam able to save that machine. Oh my, that could have been really bad. Really bad, as they made slight contact right then. Right when they were coming to the line. So that tells me, I think the 17 really wanted to win that stage. I don't think he did that intentionally. I don't think it was anything like that. He was just in the throttle and did not want to lift. If you lift on exit right there, it kills all your momentum. As I'm expecting the caution to come out right now at any moment. So it's going to be Brian Dees picking up the stage win tonight, I do believe. Now we'll wait until it's official. But I think it is Mr. Dees who will pick up the stage win. As he does, Brian Dees, driver number 17, is our first stage winner here tonight. And oh man, what an interesting stage, and what a great way to end that stage. Well, thank y'all for tuning in as we see stage 1 winner goes to the So Stiller, Brian Dees. And now we're going to try to dial up Mr. Brian Dees and have a quick little word with him and see exactly how he's feeling after winning that stage. Brian, this is Tanner Marr in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, Tanner. How's it going?
It's going good, buddy, and I think it's going a little bit better for you. We just watched you and Sam do battle like you were trying to win the race right then. Slight contact right there. No harm, no foul. Off all 8 wheels still pointing straight. You was able to bring home that stage win. What did you learn from that stage right there to attack these next 100 laps?
I think it's going to be a lot of tire saving, so that's going to be pretty important. I think Sam saved his tires a little bit better than me. That's why he was able to run me down. And then at the end, yeah, it's kind of just fighting for it. So I'm not sure if that last bit of contact, I'm not sure if I slid up or he came down. It felt like I slid up a little bit, so I apologize to him if I did, but we'll take a look at it after the race and find out.
Right. I mean, like I said, you're racing for something at that point, you know, and it was just one of them boom boom type plays, and you couldn't really tell. I mean, it was hard to see who was on, but still, no harm, no foul. Congratulations on your stage win, Mr. Bryan. We'll be calling action up here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir, buddy. Now we just talked to our stage 1 winner, who was Mr. Brian Dees himself. Thought him and Mr. Sam Baumgarten was going to have a little bit of an incident, but those drivers were able to keep it all facing straight, going the correct way. As you see, Brian Dees did not take tires. Sam did not take tires. Now, there's going to be some other drivers that elect to take their tires. As Sam may have took his tires, I'm going to have to pull him up and see. We're going to have a quick word with our driver who dominated a big portion of this race. Green flag stops, kind of cycled him back a little bit. Sam, Tanner Barn and Booty, got copy.
Yeah, I got you, Tanner.
So, Sam, I noticed right then, towards the end of that stage, it was go mode. I mean, you closed a second gap in a matter of 2 laps. So, did you pick up something on old tires right then that you can use towards the later portions of this race tonight?
It's definitely possible. I mean, doing those first runs definitely helps me figure out how the tire's going to wear, how the car's going to handle overall. I felt like we were fast on the long run there, so we're just going to have to manage our tire wear just a little bit better here on this run and see where we finish from here.
Well, Sam, I will apologize. I was interviewing Brian Dees and did not see if y'all did take tires or not. Did you take your 4 tires right then?
Yeah, we both just took 4 tires.
Okay, alrighty. That's what I was wondering. So, alright, so it looks like most of the field took their tires in. So good luck to you, Sam. We'll be calling action, brother. Good luck.
Thanks, Tanner.
Yes, sir, buddy. Alright, that's driver number 53. He's dominated tonight already. Got pushed back a little bit because of the strategy, but still looking really strong right now. Sam is currently in 4th. Brian D, stage winner, is in 3rd. And it looks like the Butcher did not take tires and Willie Evernham did not take tires. So a little strategy coming out of these drivers. We're going to pull up Willie Evernham really quick. Have a quick little word with him. Willie, Tanner Martin, and Booth, you got copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
So, Willie, I noticed that you elected to not take tires right then. Playing a little strategy call, you and your teammate Taylor the Butcher Benjamin.
Just kind of what would Ray do? We got a couple sets of tires sitting in the pits. Car wasn't that bad on the long run. Obviously, got to keep it gripping on all 4. Just gonna see what we can do. We're gonna play the game here, and hopefully we can have those 2 sets for later in the run.
Right on. I mean, it never hurts to have the advantage late in the race, especially have the advantage when nobody else has any type of tires left. How was the tires as that run ended right then? What was your percentage-wise on the right sides?
We're looking about 65 and 68. Right front, right rear. So we're just going to be a little bit careful here, go through this fuel run. I don't know, I'm kind of enjoying it. Now maybe I wish we could go just add 1 set of tires. This easy on, easy off dirt track style, save your tires kind of thing's fun for me. So really enjoying it and having a blast here my first ASRL.
Right on, Will. We'll get you back down to your race team, but I do want to ask about how far can y'all go on fuel?
Man, I think we pitted 31, 32 on that last green flag stop. The iRacing thing isn't really
accurate.
Good to go for accurate. So just gonna see what we got. Hopefully we can maintain the tires, get to that next fuel window, and pedal to the metal from there, man.
All right then, brother. We'll get you back up to your race team. We'll be calling action up here, Willie. Thank you, buddy. Good luck.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All righty, you hear it right then. Him and the Butcher, the 19 and the 10, they are indeed on old rubber. They're going to try a little bit of strategy right here, maybe set themselves up great for the end of the race. There's a lot of fresh tires right there behind them, and not only fresh tires, but drivers that are super fast with fresh tires. Field's going to be in the hands of the number 10, Taylor Benjamin. Let's see just how much these fresh tires have an advantage over the old tires as the green flag is out. See, the 10 car gets a good jump. Willie does as well. Willie's not got anybody to battle right now as he goes into turn 1 and 2. But I think those fresh tires of Brian Dees and Sam Baumgarten, they're going to have so much of an advantage on exit. As you see, both of them drivers just drive right to the back bumper of the 19. It gets a little tight through there. Got to be careful. Now you see the Soul Stealer work his way up to second. He has his eyes set on Taylor the Butcher right there in front of him, as he's going to make light work of this as well. Those fresh tires just cannot be contained. As you see, the 17 actually used the grass a little bit, paying homage to the late great Dale Earnhardt Sr. passing the grass right here. It's all 17 out front. And I also noticed he was able to break away from the 53 a little bit. And as much gap and room you can create between yourself and the 17 and the 53, that's all good news for Brian Dees, because that's a gap that the 53 will have to climb out of. And right now, it just does not look like the 53 is able to match the pace that Brian Dees had. Brian Dees was able to put those fresh tires to work quickly right then and took the lead in under a lap. But it looks like Sam might be playing chess right now, as he's looking like he's trying to save his equipment and not try to get past the Butcher too quick here. But you look out ahead, Brian Dees is just checking out right now, folks, as we're going to look back to the pack. He's almost a full corner ahead of them, so if Sam wants to keep it within sights to the number 17, he did the right thing. He got around the number 10 of the Butcher and bringing Corey Rutherford, a playoff driver from last season, right there with him. So Corey is currently up 5 spots right now as well. He is also a big mover thus far tonight, looking to get as best of a finish as he can get in that 5 machine from Work in Progress Racing. As we look right here, the battle is on for 4th and 3rd and 5th right now. You got about 3 drivers duking it out. Looks like John Perkins won the battle. He's currently sitting 3rd. Paul Ellison's 4th. Corey Rutherford is 5th. But don't look now. Rick Thompson, that bad man, is on the move. Representing Speed Mafia. You see it right there. 76 is currently now worked his way up inside the top 5. He is our biggest mover now of the night. Currently up 8 spots from when he hit the grid. And now, folks, I want y'all to do something. I want you to turn them speakers up loud. Crank it up one time for me, as we're going to crank our end up right here. I want to thank Justin Inch for giving us the graphic. But now, folks, if you would, crank it up. We're going to crank it up to 11. Turn it up. You can hear exactly what these drivers are hearing and experiencing. And we will be right back. Alrighty, folks, we are back. We are back. We are back, and nothing much has changed except we are now in the pit window. We could hear Brian Dees. He was shutting the car off as he entered these corners, trying to save every bit of fuel as he could. And I just seen that Joshua Sexton went down pit road, but I'm not sure where he went after that. Showing me he is not even on the track anymore. Not sure what happened to Joshua Sexton here. But Frank Barber's probably down pit road, so I think we have approached the pit window now, guys. We'll be looking for these drivers to take some racing fuel, as I think Josh got dropped from the race. He is no longer in Discord as well, so tough break for that number 51 who was looking to start the season off hot and strong. He has now put the car on the hauler. And now we've saw Sam. He has for sure been just saving his equipment as this run has went on. He let number 17, as Joshua Sexton texted me and said he had a small issue to deal with. He's let the 17 basically just break away from him. But now he's going to try to climb back into it and get back up there and maybe take the lead spot away, as we are now on lap number 70. Closely getting to that halfway point of this race. He is about a second back off our race leader, Brian Dees, the number 17. Now, like I said, we heard the 17. He was saving fuel. He was shutting that car off and leaving it off for the entire duration of the corners. That's going to be a storyline to watch as I hear the wind really pick up outside. I think now it is time, folks, to present the MF Racing Designs Best Paint Scheme of the Night. Let me know out in viewer land, who do you think has the best looking paint scheme? As we're going to go through the paint schemes really fast and try to see which one we think deserves the best paint scheme of the night, presented by MF Racing Designs. And there's going to be a few MF Racing Designs very own paints out here. You're looking at one right now, the 17, who is currently out front. The number 53 is also an MF Racing Designs paint scheme, a very, very special Halloween theme scheme. And the 89 of Philip Van Fleet. Rick Thompson's number 76. I like that car too. It's something different, but I like it. And you got Paul Ellison in the 55. I really like that car as well. And then John Perkins, number 33. That's another good looking ride. As I'm wanting to say, MF painted that as well. He certainly did. You can see his logo on the side. And you got Corey Rutherford, Joshua Rutherford, and then the Butcher. Now we saw Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, Willie Abraham. They elected to not take tires earlier. They are currently falling way, way back. They might want to start thinking about possibly bringing it down pit road and grabbing them tires, because you do not want to go a lap down. And then we also have Willie Abraham, number 19. But for tonight, being that it is this close to Halloween, it's got to be the MF Racing Designs' very own number 53 of Sam Baumgarten to win the MF Racing Designs Best Paint Scheme of the Night. Hands down, number 53 is the best looking car out here on the track thus far tonight. But I choose you, Mr. Samuel. You win tonight's MF Racing Designs Best Paint Scheme of the Night. And even you yourself, you can find yourself in a very special MF Racing Designs paint scheme. It can be a replica to your favorite drivers in NASCAR, F1, Rallycross, it don't matter. It can be something original. It can be aggressive and mean looking with some matte colors. It can stand out and be outlandish with some chrome colors or some teal chrome. You think of it, he can do it. Again, that's MF Racing Designs over on Facebook.com. Let him know 5 Kings Motorsports sent you. Get you $10 off your paint scheme. Again, that is MF Racing Designs, and we thank them for being a presenting sponsor of 5 Kings Motorsports. As we see, Sam, he has cut the lead down tremendously. He is now right there almost to the back bumper of the 17. So, if the 53 saved enough tires, we're going to find out. as I think he did, because he was able to cut that 1.5 second lead down in a matter of a couple laps, really. Becoming lap number 78. We heard they went about 31 laps on fuel earlier. So let's see what they can go to this time around. As now it has been 28 laps since they put Sunoco racing fuel in their machines. Philip Van Fleet is having a very good run here tonight. Worked his way up to third right now. Looking really strong, guys. I'm seeing our leaders pitted actually on lap 52. Philip Van Fleet pitted on lap 54. So he's a little bit off sequence to these drivers in front of him, but not by a lot. As we're now about 30 laps into this run, I look for pit road to become very busy. And if this right here isn't deja vu from what we saw earlier, we now have the 53 right there on the back bumper of the 17. It's Matt Gardner up in the chat. We have a Matt Gardner spotting. Just said what up in the chat. What's going on, Matt? How you doing tonight, brother? As you see, the 53 really trying to work on the 17. Matt said, let's go 51. You got this, Matt. Josh texted me and said he had a small issue he had to deal with, so he had to get off. He ended up putting his car on the hauler fairly early tonight. So now there's only a few 5 Kings Motorsports drivers left in the race. But man, oh man, this Speed Mafia camp right now is looking like they are the ones to beat right now. With the 53 just hounding the 17 going inside. We have a race for the lead here now. As the 17 is going to lead that lap around, but I don't think it's going to last much longer because the 53 is to his inside. Going to drive it off in there deep into turn 1. New race leader, a very familiar face out front. Got himself up there and got him in the position needed by saving his tires just long enough. As now we have Paul Ellison. He is electing to take the 55 down pit road. I don't see that car getting jacked up, so no tires yet for the 55. He's out in the way. Got it filled up with Sunoco racing fuel. It's all Sam Baumgarten though out front as he's catching lap traffic right now. Looking back here at Rick Thompson, he is currently trying to work his way up inside the top 3. Rick got here late, was not able to put a qualifying lap down. But it has not hurt him yet, as he's currently working over Philip Van Fleet, who's currently holding down the 3rd place spot. I told y'all earlier that 76 was on the move. He's currently up 9 spots now, looking to make it 10. As we are now on lap 83, going to be coming to 84. As Brian Dees is falling back almost 0.7 of a second behind our race leader, Sam Baumgarten, right now. When are these drivers going to elect to bring it down pit road? As all 10 that are out there right now elected to go around another lap, and I stand corrected. Rick Thompson, driver number 76, is going to break the ice. He's going to be the first driver within the lead pack. John Perkins is going to follow him to come down pit road. So fuel is starting to get really low. How many more laps can they go around? They're going to have to pit another time. So making it to the end now is not even in the question. As Taylor the Butcher Benjamin brings it down pit road, we're going to keep the camera on him with Willie Everingham right there behind him. Also, I would think these two right here are definitely going to put 4 tires on, but have they lost too much track position to the other guys in front of them? We're going to have to wait and see as we see the Butcher make it to his pit stall. We see the right side of that car get jacked up. Right side's going up. Fresh tires going on. As our race leader Sam Baumgarten brought it down pit road as well, surrendered the lead back to the 17 of Brian Dees. We saw Brian Dees actually saving some fuel. He was cutting his car off, so he was able to go a little bit further. But he's now electing to bring his machine down. Corey Rutherford's coming down. It's going to give the race lead to Joshua Rutherford right here. Maybe not. I don't know if Josh is going to be able to get to Sam or not. Sam's currently trying to work his way up. No, Joshua Rutherford's going to put Sam a lap down. I stand corrected. So right now, Joshua is the last one to not go down pit lane just yet. As we've seen, Taylor the Butcher Benjamin and Willie Everingham, those two drivers are on fresh rubber now. So they're going to be almost a second faster than the rest of our field. You see Brian Dees coming off pit road right there. Frank Barb's going around. As he's not up to speed yet, going to let the 53 skate on by. As we have we're a little bit over halfway. Another green flag stop is in and out of the way for these drivers. They should have one more stop if I had to guess. Maybe two more. Did you see that 19? He's going to fly by the 53. Able to just pass him like he was sitting still. And we see Joshua Rutherford bringing his machine down pit road, electing to surrender the lead to the familiar face of Mr. Sam out front. And Sam has a little bit of a comfort zone over second place Brian Dees. Sorry guys, I had a guy text me. May have somebody join me up in the booth. These races like this, these long races where there's no cautions or anything, they're really hard to call because you lose your voice over time. And I am getting there now without a doubt. As let's give an update to the Butcher. He was almost 2 seconds faster than our race leaders that time around. So if he continues that pace, he's going to be sitting really nice, as he's currently sitting 9th with Willie Everingham sitting 10th. Willie was actually the fastest car on the track that last time around. So they are trying to dig themselves out of the hole they created when they did not take tires at the stage caution. They tried to set themselves up for success at the end. We've seen the 53 actually getting to the wall a little bit right there. As we see, so Sam is just now going across the line. Let's see where Taylor's at. And Taylor is coming out of 2, so there's a lot of racetrack and real estate between those two drivers. So if Taylor is able to make that lead just to dwindle down to where he can get to the back bumper, that'd be very impressive, as we're now on lap number 92. Going to be 93 this time around when we cross the stripe. See Sam coming out of turn number 4, turn number 2 again. But you saw Brian Dees had himself in the shot right there. We went cockpit with Sam earlier. Let's go back to the cockpit. I'm sure he's starting to feel the effects of those tires now, as he's now about 40 laps in on a set. He's about ready to throw another set on this car. And that will be his final set, I do recall, if I recall correctly. It will be. They have one more set in the pits. Everybody does right now. So when they take that next set, they got to make it to the end of the race. So Sam may actually elect to stretch these out a little bit further That way to allow the least amount of laps on that last set. As we're going to see, Sam is just now crossing the start-finish line with fresh tires. So fresh tires have definitely had the advantage. He gained about a half a straightaway on him right there. So Taylor is coming. It's just, will he have enough time? Because at some point, Taylor's tires will start to be burnt up as well. And the way the tire fall off works here, you pretty much get to some point about the 32-second lap range like Sam is at right now. And then it just plateaus right there. Fresh tires, you can do about a 30-second lap for not very long. You can do a 30-second lap for about 5-6 laps, then you fall off, and then you run about a 31-second lap. So right now, that time around, Taylor was exactly a second faster than Sam, our leader, was that last time around. We'll check it as they come around this time, as Sam is going into turn 3 and 4 right now. But Sam has had a really impressive night all night thus far, leading a majority of these laps. Brian Dees did take the 17 out front and hold it up there for a few laps, but Sam could not be denied thus far. But we still have over 50 laps to go. These races are long. They get stretched out in these periods right here, and anything can happen. Gotta maintain focus during these type of races, because one slip up, one miscalculation, you just lose focus for 1 split second. That can ruin your entire night. As you see, Rick Thompson. Rick is actually getting closer to Brian Dees. He is also closing in the gap on our 2 leaders out front. Rick Thompson was about 3/10 faster than our first and second place runners, Sam Baumgarten and Brian Dees, right then that time around. But I think our fresh tires of Taylor the Butcher and Willie Evernham, they are still better off right now, but they are starting to wear. As we see Sam cross the start finish line and Taylor going into turn 3 and 4. So the gap is definitely shrinking, folks. And now I know we're focusing on them 2 right now. It's because Sam is the leader and Taylor's the only car out here, or the first car out here, on fresh rubber right now. As John Perkins actually might be on fresh rubber as well. No, he's not either. No, he's not. Never mind. I take that back. Still, all Sam out front like it has been for a majority part of this race. And we are now on lap 100 of 150, coming to 101 this time by the stripe. Brian D still holding down the second place spot, but Rick Thompson, who did not get to qualify, currently holding it down in P3. Paul Ellison's 4th, Corey Rutherford 5th. Taylor the Butcher's worked his way back up to 6th. And then we just saw Perkins make a pass over Van Fleet in the 89. John Perkins has worked his way up to 7th. If we're going to try to see if we can find a battle on the track somewhere. Everybody's pretty much spaced out. No real battles. That's what happens in these long races with only one stage caution. It lets the drivers really get stretched out, and the cream rises to the top. And we see Willie make a pass over Philip Van Fleet. So Mr. Evernham, the number 19, has worked his way up to 8th place. Currently trying to work over the 33 of John Perkins out in front of him. Kudos to these drivers, though, for going 103 laps. Not one caution thus far yet. Don't want to jinx them, that's for sure. But a caution would spice this thing up. Bunch this field back together. But like I mentioned earlier, when we went to the grid, a lot of talented drivers out here. Cautions come few and far in between. Still the 53, Sam Baumgarten, all out front by himself. Got almost a 1.5 lead over Mr. Brian Dees himself. Got Rick Thompson currently sitting third. Paul Ellison's in fourth. Corey Rutherford fifth. The Butcher is currently sitting sixth, trying to get there to Sam while he still has fresh tires. Let's get an update on where Sam's at. We'll watch him as he cross start finish line. The last time we looked, Taylor was entering 3. That time, Taylor's entering 4. So, the fresh tires are paying off. He's just got to get there to him. As we see now, Butcher trying to work his way up to P5. Trying to make a pass over our 5th place runner right now, Corey Rutherford. He goes to the inside. Those fresh tires, or fresher tires at this point, should make it fairly easy. Now he sets his eyes on the 4th place runner, Paul Ellison, number 55. Picking off 2 drivers in 1 lap. That's never a bad thing. As we're going down the back stretch for the 108th time here tonight, Sam Baumgarten still has the lead right now. Brian Dees is trying to get the pace needed to get there to Sam, but just not able to match the pace of that driver right now. Rick Thompson still holding down P3, but he has to be careful. He has the Butcher, who is behind almost 4 seconds right now as we go cockpit cam. You can see Rick way up there as Taylor was going into turn 3. Rick was coming out of turn 4. As now we have drivers electing to hit pit road again. Paul Ellison's going down pit road. I look for that driver to take some tires now as well. So Paul Ellison will be on fresh rubber as well. When will our leaders elect to come back down? As Brian Dees is falling back to almost 2 seconds to our leader, Sam, currently out front as well. Rick Thompson, though, Rick is closing the gap in on 2nd place Brian Dees. But he is getting ready to fall into the clinches of the Butcher. Let's give an update right now. You see Sam about middle ways through the backstretch as the Butcher in the 10 is working his way out of turn 2. So he should be getting close to having 1st, 2nd, and 3rd out his windshield in sight. But just not. It just worries me that maybe. Well, no, that's not true. I was going to say it worries me maybe he's using his equipment too much. But when those other drivers go in and take their tires, the people that elected to stay out earlier and not take tires, such as Taylor and Willie, they will be able to take fresh rubber. So they'll be basically on the same strategy as those guys. And you see, he was really able to catch Rick Thompson there. It was about 4 seconds last time we updated. It's now under A second, almost 7/10 of a second, separates Taylor the Butcher Benjamin from our third place driver of Rick Thompson. As you see the Butcher going down pit road now, he must think he's in his pit window. That's really going to shake things up. We're going to keep the camera on Taylor to see if he elects to take 4 tires or not. As he does take his 4 Mr. Feelgoods, Willie bringing it down right there behind him. So they are back on 4 tires again. John Perkins is bringing his machine down pit road. We're now on lap 115. As we see Sam, it looks like he's going to make another lap around Charlotte Motor Speedway. Yes, he is. He's coming to lap 116 now of 150. Now's when the strategies really start to, you can tell the other strategies that people have tried throughout the race. This is when you can tell if they're going to cash in and be a success or not. So we're going to see Taylor and Willie and John, they elect to pit a little bit earlier than our leaders. They're trying to gain as much time on our leaders because each lap that our leaders stay out on older tires, like I mentioned earlier, they're going to be about 2 seconds slower. So now it's just, it's all down in the driver's hands now. Once these top 5 drivers finally elect to pit, as we see Rick Thompson going down pit road, once the top 5 finally pit, then it's all in control of the drivers. As I think I'm about to be joined by Mr. Dalton Kilrow. As I don't see him in a channel yet. Still just waiting for him to pop in. Oh, I found him. There we go. We have relief. We have Mr. Dalton Kilrow. He was a 9-time winner last season. Ran a special Groovy 200 Groovy Hollow race. He can tell you more about it. Dalton, you are in the booth, brother.
Hello.
So how'd your race go tonight, Dalton?
It was okay. Started P19 in that, and it was around the Groovy Hollow Raceway, which was basically just Hickory at night with a lot of fog. But I see what they were getting at. Drove my way up into the top 10. Was ahead of all of the NASCAR drivers. Then stage 1 ended. They sent 4 people to the back, I think. And I got to the lead, almost won stage 2, but Josh Berry got around me at the end of that. And then I got sent to the back at the end of the stage because they did random draw stuff. And then just got mired back in traffic and had nowhere to go, no time to react to hardly anything. Ended up causing 3 cautions from people just slamming on their brakes a full, I don't know, 3-4 car lengths before the corner entry, or before the normal braking point going into the corner.
Sorry to interrupt you. Josh Rutherford's pancaked the wall, but keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. But no, just ended up causing 3 cautions because of everybody checking up and me not really having any time to react. And they had 3 strike system. You caused 3, you got DQ'd, so I ended up finishing dead last.
Oh, wow.
I was a top 5 car all night.
Wow.
Like, I was legitimately the only person, from what I could tell, that raced Josh Berry hard enough to actually make Josh have to work to pass you.
Right. I'll have to go back and watch it. Now, folks, if you want to go back and watch it, it was shown on Podium as well, another broadcaster, but also it's on Eric Estep's YouTube channel.
Yep.
And you spell his last name. I'm a red.
Estepp.
There you go. I'm a redneck from Kentucky, so my southern slang may not sound right at times, but it's Eric E. Step on YouTube. You can watch the Groovy Hickory Hollow. What was it called, Dalton?
The Groovy Hollow 200.
There we go.
And if it makes it easier to find his channel, search up Out of the Groove, because that's his podcast that he does. I want to say a couple times a week at least. Well, not a podcast, but
a race review, basically.
Race review, news aggregation kind of stuff.
Anything related to NASCAR happens. Basically, he's one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube as well. So I thought that was really cool that Dalton did get to race on his channel. Kind of bummed out, 3-strike rule. Place like Hickory, stuff's going to happen. I mean, it's not a track like what we're looking at here tonight. Hickory's small.
Too many cautions, in my opinion, but that's a different story.
Right. And we've been caution free here tonight, Dalton. It's been on Sam and Brian D's out front, mainly Sam. But Taylor made a bold strategy, Dalton, on the pit call. As I'm sharing my screen now. Let me know if you can see it.
I can see it, but I cannot hear it.
Oh yeah, it's because I got it shared. I can't share it the other way because you can't see the ticker.
Okay.
So Taylor made a bold strategy. Did not take tires. It was him and Willie Abraham. Did not take tires at the lap 50 caution. And now you know Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte is known and notorious for eating tires. So they had about 60% tire wear or tires left, you know. So of course they got eaten alive when they went back out there, just completely ate up. But then when they
pit for rubber.
Then they pitted for rubber, and they didn't drive the leaders down, but they got within striking distance. They were about 6 seconds back, and then Taylor's he surprised me really. He pitted on lap 113, about 5 laps before Sam, and all it took was those 5 laps of fresh rubber, and he was able to get around Sam. So now Sam is currently the one trying to get back up there to where he's been the entire race. Earlier, it was the Butcher had about an 8-second gap between himself and the race leader Sam, and now those roles have reversed, and Sam's about 14 seconds back off of Taylor right now, and they are on the same strategy, both of them on the same tires. So basically it took me a long time to get there, but that tire strategy being bold like that, if this thing goes caution free, Taylor might have put himself in a perfect spot to finally capture that elusive win in the American Sim Racing League here tonight.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I know from experience myself around here at Charlotte, having that tire strategy play out towards the end is very, very satisfying, as we actually see John Perkins getting around Sam. So I'm questioning whether Sam, how far can these guys go on a tank of fuel?
Well, it's been weird, man. So everybody went about 31 laps as we see Perkins going to take it down pit road now. Perkins last pitted on lap 117, so I'm not sure why he's pitting right now, to be honest. They can go up.
Let me hop in Sam's car real quick.
All right.
Sam is saving fuel.
Okay, so that makes sense then.
Here's what I'm thinking's happening. He's noticed that because Taylor pit 5 laps early, correct?
Mm-hmm. Lap 113.
I fairly strongly believe Taylor is not going to be able to make it on fuel. Sam will be able to make it on fuel.
Okay, probably. You're probably right. As we're gonna go, I have it turned down so low where it's gonna be hard to tell, but I'll be able to let y'all know if he is. Taylor's not saving. Taylor isn't saving fuel though. I mean, so
I'm pretty sure Taylor's bet here is he's going to put as much of a gap on Sam as he possibly can. So that way when he does end up having to pit for fuel, it's as short of a stop and he loses as little time as possible.
But then he can't just focus on Sam because he has Brian D's only 2.5 seconds back off of him right now.
Right. And did Brian pit with Taylor?
No, Brian pitted after Sam. Brian pitted on lap 118. I thought they could only go about 31 laps, so.
So Brian D's might actually be in the best spot here. Because if they can go 31 laps without having to save fuel.
Right.
Let me hop in the cockpit of Brian D's car here real quick, see what he's doing.
He was shutting it off earlier.
He is saving it. So Brian, I'm thinking he's in the catbird seat. He's going to win this race if it goes green because he's saving fuel.
Right.
He's catching Taylor. He's right there with Taylor. So when Taylor pits, Brian's going to inherit the lead, and he's going to have it's going to have about a 20-second lead to Sam.
Right.
Unless Sam thinks it may be a lot closer than it actually is. Because if they can go about 31 laps, pitting on lap 118, they only got to save about a lap, maybe 2 of fuel.
Yeah, not very many laps of fuel. And now we saw Brian go about 33 laps earlier. That was with shutting his car off. He was shutting it off and letting it roll. So we know he can do the laps needed because he pitted on lap 118. So.
And Taylor is definitely not saving. I just went in his car.
Yeah, he's pushing.
He's going to be trying, but I think Brian Dees is in that catbird seat. He is. If this goes green, I'm calling it. That 17 car is going to walk away with the win here.
Just off circumstance, how it played out with the fuel strategy. And I said about on like lap 80, I was like, now's when you're going to start to see if strategies are going to pay off or not, because that was when Taylor was catching him. But I think Taylor just came down a few laps too early, trying to make up ground to the leaders. Maybe he thought maybe there might be a late race caution or something. You know, you never know how these races are going to shake out. Just because there hasn't been a caution thus far does not mean there won't be a late race caution. I mean, it happens all the time, you know.
And that also brings up something else. Does anybody still have a set of tires? Because if
I don't think so.
Still has you don't think so?
I don't think anybody does.
Because if anybody still has tires and there is a late race caution,
man, oh man,
we gotta look right at them.
Yeah.
We cannot take our eyes off them because they are gonna fly through this field on a restart.
We watched Taylor whenever he came out on fresh rubber, and now these guys around him only had like 25 laps on their tires, and that don't sound like a whole lot. But man, oh man,
around Charlotte,
yeah,
though,
the pace difference. Taylor was just blowing their doors off on the outside like it was nothing, and it made me think, hey, I think his 10 car may be able to put the strategy down to get the win tonight, but I don't think the fuel is going to pay off for him.
Right.
He can't save that much. I don't think pitting from lap 113 and trying to stretch out to 150.
Yeah, I doubt very seriously he's going to be able to go 37 laps on one tank of fuel, especially if he's not saving at all.
Right. And Brian Dees, I mean, the gap has grew. It was almost a second and a half, 2 seconds earlier. It's worked its way up to 4 seconds right now, and Dees is clutching it in the corner. So I mean, he's playing chess right now. He's letting Taylor just walk away from him because he's thinking big picture right now.
Yeah, he doesn't need to worry about Taylor at this point in the race because he knows if he just keeps on keeping on like he's been doing ever since he came out of the pits, he is going to win this race if it goes green. Because Taylor, I'm sorry for Taylor, but he kind of cut himself out of the potential race win by pitting as early as he did. So he's probably just going to try to salvage what he can now at this point. But I will say, from what I remember, the fresh tires versus the old rubber.
2 seconds.
The fresh rubber, 2 seconds if you're pushing, 1 second if you're kind of saving it.
Yeah,
because I was getting about 1 second a lap.
Right.
When I had the tire strategy play out in my favor.
The 2 seconds lasted for not even 5 laps. I mean, you could be.
So Taylor was probably pushing, getting as much life out of the tires as he could early.
Yep. And then he short pitted again before everybody else again, and did the same thing. Had the same strategy as well, and that's how he got the lead. But now it's put him in a spot. Now watch, I'll be a dummy and he'll go to the end. But everybody I talked to, and the first stage, everybody was coming in between lap 30 and 33, like D's made it. But I just don't see any chance that Taylor can go the distance. But he might. I mean, he may, but he's definitely not shutting his car off. He don't seem like he's worried about it too much.
Right. I think at this point he knows he's going to be short on fuel, so he's just like we've been saying, he is just going to go. So, I mean, they've only got 12 laps to go here.
12 laps remaining.
So you've made your bed. Now time to lay in it.
So we're riding on board with the 53 of Sam right now in the Halloween MF Racing Designs paint scheme. And I think he's in go mode now, Dalton. I don't think he's saving anymore either. So he might be in the green as far as fuel.
He just got around Paul Ellison on that 55, and he is hunting down Corey Rutherford. I do recall a few laps ago he was about 25 to 26 seconds behind our leader, and now he's catching right up to Corey Rutherford. He's going to go around him on the outside, so he's been saving fuel, saving tires. He's gonna start going here, but I think it's too little, too late. As he gets
got really loose. Yes. That's something that I don't remember Charlotte last season being that loose. I know it was kind of loose, but man, especially Sam tonight, he's really had to drive that car tonight. And there's been 2 times where he stepped out to the point where I was like, okay, the third time might be the charm, so you need to calm down. But everything's looked good. I mean, he's kept it straight. But yeah, they've been wicked loose tonight as the runs went on.
Something I just noticed, Brian Dees is go mode as well. He was a little over 4 seconds behind our leader a few laps ago. He's cut that gap down to 3.1 seconds at the line. He is go mode. His last lap time was a 31:53. Taylor the Butcher Benjamin, 32:0.
Third place, Willie Everingham brought it down pit road. Him and Taylor pitted on the exact same lap. So that tells you right there, Taylor can't make it. He can't make it right there. Willie and him brought it in on the same exact lap. So you pegged it. I think it's the 17s to win tonight.
Especially with a 20-second gap on Sam. He's cut it down another 0.4 of a second. I
just don't think the time's there for Sam to get to Brian Dees, and that's a bummer for Sam because he has been the most dominant car. But these 2 cars are here, Brian Dees and Sam. They both have been on rails. Everywhere Sam's been, Brian's been right there with him. It's just Sam's been out front.
Looks like Taylor's staying out yet another lap. Let's see what the lap times are between them. Taylor with a 32.1, Brian with a 31.666. Right. The Devil's lap.
Yeah, it was So Stiller with the Devil's lap. He's coming.
It's down to 2.2. Getting larger in that mirror of Taylor the Butcher Benjamin. You gotta think Taylor's gonna be pitting here in the next lap or 2, unless he's been slowing it down to try and save it.
I went cockpit cam, but now he's coming down.
Here he comes.
Yep, coming down pit road now. Going to surrender the lead to Brian Dees. Maybe had just a little miscalculation with the fuel. Our fuel man, Dalton Kilroe, he was in Hickory, and then he was up in the booth. He wasn't out there on track. And maybe we need our crew chief.
I can still remember a little bit.
Right. Well, we just don't have our crew chief telling us what we need to do.
True. But at this point, Brian Dees, 6 laps to go. He's
just chill at this point. Yeah, just chill at this point.
He has an 18-second lead to Sam. He can slow down 3 seconds a lap if he needed to. Which, knowing Brian, he's not going to slow down 3 seconds a lap. He wants to get this race done as soon as possible, eliminate the green-white checker, get to that white flag, and have absolutely no fears of any late race caution coming out, and getting rid of that 18-second lead he now has over Sam, who he actually he's drifting out of turn 4. I thought I just saw him thread the needle 3 wide. Yeah, it's still an 18-second lead back to Sam. Taylor looks like he is just behind our leader, so he's going to be first car lap down, I believe. Yeah.
So no bonus points either because he's a lap down. I don't think he has any incidents tonight, but got to finish on the lead lap.
Unless he goes to hunt down Brian Dees here in the next 4 or 5 laps.
Same tires, though. I don't think he can. He's not that far behind him. As still 4 laps. I don't think there's enough time there. I think unless Dees just chills out because, like you said, he does have an 18-second lead over second. I don't know where this lead developed at. I don't know how he got this far spaced out with Sam. That's something we got to ask.
What I'm thinking happened was Sam thought it was going to be a lot tighter on fuel.
It was saving a lot more.
And was saving a lot harder. And I think Brian kind of did about what I would do and just did about the bare minimum saving instead of trying to save extra for a potential green-white checkered.
Right.
So I think that's probably where that came in. Plus also 18 seconds on track. Maybe Brian took tires when Sam didn't.
I thought they'd been on the same strategy all night. I could have swore like they pitted almost together. Now,
I don't have all the information. I could be completely wrong on that part.
Brian got loose
out of turn 2.
Yeah. Calm it down, Soul Stealer. You're almost at home.
See.
Gonna be
Gap's
two.
still staying the same. He was about 2 seconds slower than Sam, or 2/10 of a second. Sorry about that.
White
He's
flags
coming.
out.
Yes, sir.
White flags
So
out. It's
now-
all Brian D's out front. Just got to
That
go
doesn't matter
around.
what anybody else does.
Nope, it don't matter. As Joe White always says, last lap. It's been our BAM racing business, but Joe always says they can line them up on the backstretch and all die for all they care. No green, no yellow flags coming at this point. Brian D's going into turn 3, going to try to get, or basically going to get, the first win of the new season. And now Dalton, correct me if I'm wrong. The playoffs, are they winning your end over here? I can't remember.
I believe they are, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Either way,
I know it's top 5 in points.
right. Either way, a win is the most points possible, and that's exactly what the Soul
yeah.
Stealer did right then. So congratulations to Mr. Brian Dees. This BAM Racing Videos is going to sponsor this winning moment. We're going to see that 17 Avengers versus X-Men machine painted by MF Racing Designs. Burn it down.
I've actually got a little info because I can hear him talking. He is now out of fuel.
Oh, well, no, well, we ain't going to burn it down then. So he nailed it. He nailed it then, Dalton.
Yep, and I can also hear Sam Baumgarten saying, "There is no freaking way he is not out of fuel."
Oh, Sam. Shout out to Corey Rutherford bringing that machine home in P3. Very good run for Corey.
Oh yeah.
Dalton, do you want to interview him? Even though you didn't get to see a lot of this race, you still want to do the honors?
Sure, might as well.
He's up here. It's all you.
All right, Corey Rutherford in that number 5 car brought it home P3 here tonight at Charlotte. Tell us about your race. Tell us what happened.
Fuel safe. And to make short, those last, that last stage there, I'll try to heavily save on the first stint and then save a little bit on the other 2, and it paid off. So 3rd place, I'll take it to start off the new season.
Hey, you got 3rd. Good job. I wasn't here for hardly any of the race, so Tanner and I were figuring you could go about 31 laps on a tank without really having to save anything. Is that number about right, or what were you guys getting?
We did 32. I did 32 on those last 2 stints there with a little bit of fuel save, and it paid off.
Well, good job on the fuel strategy. Y'all are learning. Who you got on that 5 car? You gotta thank.
So we'll start off by thanking Rick Thompson and the rest of the guys at Speed Mafia for putting the league on. You, Tanner, and the rest of 5 Kings for broadcasting. My family, my dad, my 2 brothers for their support. Check out CJR Graphics on Facebook. If you need a paint, hit me up. And then check out Mullet Music Productions on YouTube.
Well, there you have it. Corey Rutherford brings it home P3 for the season opener here at Charlotte in the American Sim Racing League. Congratulations, and we'll put you back up in your team channel. Let you celebrate.
Thanks, Dalton.
Alrighty, folks, that was our 3rd place finisher, Corey Rutherford. Now it's time for Mr. Samuel to come down here. Dalton, I'll let you have the honors once again as we hear his take on tonight's race. Driver number 53 brought it home in P2.
My
Sam
take.
Go ahead. Floor is yours, Sam.
Yeah, there ain't no way. Screw Brian. Dude, I was saving as soon as I came out of the pits, and I just saved 3 laps of fuel. He just told me, he said he was saving the whole run, or like the whole race. I don't believe that, because he pulled out on that one stint there, and I caught him back, and I don't know. It's just, he's out of fuel. I still got a little bit left, so, I mean, I tried to play the fuel strategy. I guess that just shows why I don't play fuel strategies, because I suck at them.
Well, hey, you at least still had enough fuel in the tank to get it home P2. I can say that when I did actually get in here after my race, and the second I hopped into Brian D's car, he was saving fuel just about like I would do it. So he was I think you were probably saving a little too much, if that makes sense.
I had to. I had no choice. Like I said, I had to save about three or so laps.
Well, anyway, you still brought it home. P2, who you got in that 53 car, you got to thank.
MF Racing Designs, Savage Edge Graphics, everybody send a prayer out to Corey and Amanda. Their shit got flooded last night, so let's make sure that they're doing good. Everybody send them a message, ask them how they're doing. And you guys are putting on the broadcast. Dalton, you suck. Brian D's, you suck. But yeah, that was a good race overall.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Sam Baumgarten brings it home. P2.
He's never shy. He's never, ever at a loss for words. Sam brought home P2 tonight. We'll be talking to you, I'm sure, as the season goes on, brother.
Heck yeah, man.
All right, good race, buddy. All right, and then there was one, and I apologize for his 4-letter words he used right then, but he did use it in a good way, as Corey and Amanda did they had a creek get flooded, and I mean, they woke up to literal water and in their house. I mean,
yeah,
it gets no worse than that. So thoughts and prayers for them. I know sim racing equipment, Savage Edge apparel equipment, it was safe, but still, I mean,
could have been a whole lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse. So it's really scary to think about. But what's even scarier, the Soul Stealer saved just enough fuel to cross victory lane. Couldn't burn it down for us. Brian Dees, you got a copy.
I got you.
So I went on board with you on that second stint, and you were saving fuel then. And you went, I think, 33 laps. So I knew when you pitted on lap 118, it was going to be close, but I figured you could make it. Coming into the night, did you think the fuel was going to play as big of a part into the night's race as what it actually did do?
No, to be honest, I didn't even think about it until after the stage caution, and then just kind of looked at when we went green, how many laps we had left, and I was like, wait a second.
Right. I mean,
I think this is probably possible.
Started doing a little bit of math in your head. You're like, hey, I think we're good here. And that's what.
Well, for me, the math in the head usually takes a little bit longer
than
me
some
too. People.
Me too.
But,
Dalton saves me because I got hands on the wheel. I can't use my fingers, so then my strategy gets all out of sorts. But still, O'Brien, I mean, you were saving just enough. You wasn't saving hardcore like Sam was. I mean, you opened it up to an 18-second lead over him. I mean, that's pretty impressive to be saving fuel. He was just saving a little bit harder. But, Brian, I mean, very impressive come out here. Win the first race of the season. I know you're stoked about that. Congratulations. Who do you got to thank for making that 17 go so fast?
I'm definitely happy about that. I'm sure it'll be a different story when Dalton gets back out here.
Right.
We'll see.
He'll be saving fuel too, for sure. They go to the grid.
Right,
Dalton's
exactly.
clutching.
I just found the right soul to steal. I finally got Dalton's and was able to save the right amount of fuel for once. So
little known secret. That's why I wasn't on track tonight. He stole my soul, and that's also why I finished dead last in the freaking special event.
Yeah, you asked who to thank. I got to thank Dalton for loaning the soul. I appreciate that, man.
who else do you got to thank tonight, Brian, before we close up shop here tonight, brother?
I got to thank MF Racing Designs, for all the paint schemes he does. Really a lot that he does for different leagues,
right.
Different graphics and everything. In another league, I know you guys know about it. I ran a race for my memorial race for my brother, and he did an awesome paint scheme for that.
He did all our paint schemes for that too.
Made an awesome graphic that you guys all ran for me. So I definitely appreciate that, and thank you to all you guys that ran that graphic for me. That really meant a lot to me and my family.
Absolutely,
Also got to thank Rick for putting on this league. It's a hell of a league. It's a lot of fun. I love doing it. And then thank you guys at Five Kings up in the booth for broadcasting and us, making us look good.
Right on. Y'all make the job easy when y'all are able to go out there and do what you do. You and Sam, y'all are the two most dominant cars, and you came out. You prevailed at the end when it counted the most. Brian Dees brought it home. P1. Congratulations tonight, buddy.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yes, sir. All right, Don, we are going to close up shop finally. It's been a long one tonight. These races are so hard to call solo because the field gets stretched out. You run out of stuff to talk about. You burn through material really fast because I'm dumb and I know I'm going to do that, but I can't help it. I'm up here by myself. So, Don, I want to thank you for tuning in or coming in late. Thank you for that. You
absolutely.
You were my relief pitcher tonight, and it really helped.
Bottom of the ninth.
I was
strike.
By lap 100, I was downhill. I was already bottomed out. I was like, man, I'm losing my voice. I did
walking every other batter.
Yeah, I did a 10-lap crank it up segment and everything. It's tough, but congratulations goes to Brian Dees, like I said, on bringing it home in victory lane. Had just enough fuel across the line with running out. Was not able to give us a burnout. Then Baumgarten brought home P2. Corey Rutherford, Taylor the Butcher, and Philip Van Fleet. They rounded our top 5 finishers. John Perkins in the number 33. He brought it home in 6th. Paul Ellis in 7th. Rick Thompson got here late. Was not able to qualify, but still dug himself out of that hole and finished P8. Joshua Rutherford brought home P9. Willie Abraham missed slightly on the strategy call right there. Was not able to get the finish like he was running in the top 5. He brought it home in 10th. Frank Barber's in 11th. Alan Castle's in 12th. Joshua Sexton had to leave mid-race, had a problem. He finished 13th, and Burnham never even touched the grid. All right, folks, we will be back again next week. Same time, same place. Oh, that reminds me, I need to pull up the schedule real quick. Where'd it go? Let's pull up the schedule real quick. We are going to Kansas next week, so kind of a similar track, but
at the same time, not
a lot different. Right. Kind of a similar track, but at the same time, it is a lot different. You're going to see boys rip the high lane next week. It's going to be interesting. And then I see that November 10th race, Martinsville. That's going to be interesting. I'm super excited for that. We'll be back on track tomorrow, bringing you the Apex Sim Racing Truck Series. Until then, it's been myself, and Dalton joined me late, but he did join me, thank God. Until next time, we'll see you.